Over 85% of creative hiring decisions are made before you even, open your mouth in an interview.
Which is just a wild statistic.
It really is. I mean, they are based entirely, sometimes exclusively, on your visual portfolio. Think about how brutal that metric actually is for a second.
The head's rough.
Right, because you could have the firmest handshake in the world, the most charming interview personality, and this flawless resume that outlines your entire educational history.
But none of that really matters at first.
Exactly. In the creative industries, all of that traditional data on a black and white page, it just barely moves the needle. So today, we're taking a deep dive into Chapter 12 of Graphic Design for Dummies.
Yeah, specifically the chapter called 10 Things You Should Know When Putting Together Your Design Portfolio.
Right, which unpacks the absolute essentials of constructing a design portfolio. And real quick, if you rely on these deep dives to give you the competitive edge in your career, please take a second to support the channel.
It really helps us out.
It does. It allows us to keep dissecting the industry mechanics and those hidden architectures that actually get you hired. Because, as we're going to see today, your portfolio is not just a digital folder of pretty pictures.
No, not at all. It is a highly engineered communication tool. It's really the ultimate proof of concept.
For sure. So what's the big picture here?
Well, what's fascinating here is the overarching theme we're pulling from the source material.
Yeah.
To even stand a chance at landing a competitive position, your portfolio has to be optimized across 3 distinct pillars.
Okay, let's hear them.
It has to be highly creative, incredibly relevant to the specific viewer, and absolutely error-free.
Yeah.
Where you're building a highly curated psychological experience, not just a storage drive.
So if 85% of the decision is visual, I feel like the immediate human instinct is to just show the hiring manager absolutely everything we've ever created.
Oh, absolutely. The shotgun approach.
Right. We want to prove volume. We want to show them that, hey, we've been working tirelessly for years. But the author is incredibly strict about shutting that instinct down immediately, right?
Yeah, completely. You have to ruthlessly prioritize quality over quantity. Volume is actually your enemy here.
Wait, really? Your enemy?
Yeah, I mean, the golden rule presented in the text is to feature a maximum of 6 to 12 stellar pieces, period.
Oh, just 6 to 12.
Exactly. It is a strict no-filler zone.
Yeah.
And the underlying mechanism here is about evaluating the designer's taste just as much as their technical skill.
That makes sense.
The author gives this benchmark for students, which is a 1 to 10 scale. If you look at a piece of your own work and it doesn't score an 8 or higher, it does not go in.
So no 7s allowed.
No 7s. You either rework it until it reaches an 8 or you kill it entirely.
Oh, man. And killing those pieces is emotionally excruciating. I mean, a designer might have spent 40 hours agonizing over a logo, so they feel this immense sunk cost fallacy.
Right, they get attached.
Exactly. They think, well, I worked hard on this, therefore it has value, so it goes on the website. But the hiring manager doesn't care about your sleep deprivation.
Not even a little bit.
They only see the final visual. And the psychology of why hiring managers reject portfolios with just okay work is fascinating. It all comes down to risk aversion.
Precisely. Let's look at the Amazon toilet brush analogy from the text because it perfectly illustrates this risk aversion.
Oh, I love this analogy.
It's so good. So, when you're shopping online for something as mundane and cheap as a plastic toilet brush, you are incredibly picky.
So true.
Right, if a product has 4 out of 5 stars and only 12 reviews, you probably keep scrolling. You don't want to risk $10 on a subpar product.
Right. We severely scrutinize a piece of plastic, so scale that up to a creative director who is preparing to invest tens of thousands of dollars into a designer's salary.
Plus benefits.
Plus benefits, yeah. Plus the potential liability of putting this person in front of a massive client.
Exactly. So a 4-star piece of work in your portfolio, it screams inconsistency. And inconsistency screams financial and professional risk.
That's such a good point.
If they see brilliance mixed with mediocrity, they just have to assume the mediocrity is what you're going to deliver on a tight deadline. You have to trim the fat to eliminate the perception of risk.
Which means we have to fundamentally shift our empathy. We have to stop looking at the portfolio through our own eyes and start looking at it through the eyes of the person holding the budget.
Yep. The harsh truth is that your portfolio isn't for you.
Right. It's your work, and it represents your creative soul or whatever, but you are not the audience.
No, you have to align your output with the specific needs of the agency you're targeting. So like, if you're going after a position heavily focused on branding, your portfolio must overwhelmingly highlight branding projects.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's kind of like cooking a meal for a dinner party.
Oh, we like that.
Yeah, so you might love incredibly spicy food, but if your guests don't, you don't serve it. You have to cook for the people sitting at the table.
Exactly. Or, the surgeon analogy, you don't lay out a bone saw if you're doing laser eye surgery just to prove you own one.
Right, that would be terrifying.
Right. You only present the exact tools needed for the specific operation at hand. Showing a creative director a bunch of irrelevant experimental photography when they need a clean corporate identity designer, it just forces them to do the mental heavy lifting of translating your skills.
And you never want to force the hiring manager to do the work.
Never. And that empathy for the user extends to the most basic levels of usability, too.
Oh yeah, the text notes a shocking number of young designers who treat their portfolio like this pristine art gallery and completely forget to include their contact information.
I mean, it's wild. If this is a functional business tool, it needs to actually function. You must embed your contact info in the footer of every single page.
Yes.
Alongside a dedicated, frictionless contact page.
Okay, so we have our specialized tray of 6 to 12 pristine 8 out of 10 tools. We've eliminated the friction of getting in touch. But just laying those tools out randomly on a table doesn't prove, how to perform the surgery.
Right. How we arrange these isolated pieces matters just as much as the pieces themselves.
We have to prove versatility without creating confusion, because monotony is an interview killer.
Oh, absolute killer. Imagine a hiring manager evaluating a candidate for a web design position. The candidate opens their portfolio and shows 9 different websites in a row.
Oh man, by the time they hit the 4th website, the hiring manager's eyes are completely glazing over.
Completely. Even if the typography is beautiful, the format has just become too predictable.
Exactly. So
Right.
the text suggests breaking up that inherent monotony by weaving in an app design or maybe a series of banner ads or a social media promotion.
Yeah, by showing different mediums, you prove that you aren't just a one-trick pony relying on a specific web template. You prove you can actually translate core design principles like visual hierarchy and color theory across completely different formats.
But it's not just about throwing a bunch of varied formats at the wall to see what sticks, is it?
No, definitely not.
The underlying goal of this structure is to build a cohesive narrative. We are wired for story, not for bulleted lists.
Exactly. Portfolios shouldn't just default to a chronological timeline, which is honestly the easiest but laziest way to organize work.
Right.
They should be sequenced to build momentum. The source provides this brilliant example of narrative flow in an interview setting.
Walk us through that.
So the candidate introduces an app design first, establishing a core problem they had to solve. Then they reveal a social media campaign and explain how the storytelling skills they developed during the app project were directly applied to that campaign.
I see. So there's a thread.
Exactly. And finally, they explain how that specific campaign landed them an internship, and they showcase the high-level work produced during that internship.
You can actually feel the momentum building in that sequence. It shows a brain that is constantly synthesizing and leveling up.
Yeah, it really does.
The author even notes that after 20 years as a creative director, they might forget a candidate's name an hour after the interview, but they will absolutely remember the work if it was attached to a compelling story.
The story anchors the visual in the reviewer's memory.
Right. But let me play devil's advocate for a second. Let me challenge that for a novice designer listening to this.
Okay, go for it.
What if their 6 to 12 best pieces feel entirely disjointed? Like they haven't had the luxury of a seamless career arc yet.
Sure.
They have, a flyer for a local dog walker, a menu for a cafe, and a personal logo. How do they force a narrative through those pieces without it sounding completely fabricated?
That is a very real hurdle. I mean, it's tough. But synthesizing the source's approach here, the narrative doesn't actually have to be about the subject matter of the work.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the dog walker and the cafe don't need to connect. The narrative is the designer's internal journey.
Okay, elaborate on that.
You use those disparate pieces as visual evidence of how your brain solves problems. So maybe a study abroad course completely changed your approach to typography.
Yeah.
And you can show the before and after of that realization through the cafe menu.
I get it. The work is just the artifact.
Exactly. The story is your evolution as a thinker.
That makes total sense. The glue holding it together is your cognition, not the client's.
Right.
So we've constructed this beautiful, cohesive narrative. We have our variety, but let's face the brutal reality of the internet here.
Oh boy, yeah.
Nobody cares about your nuanced narrative if you don't earn their attention in the first place. We have a massive user experience hurdle here when it comes to first impressions.
We really do. And this brings us to the crucial concept of placing your best work above the fold.
Above the fold, which is a term inherited directly from the print newspaper industry, right?
Yes, exactly. Historically, the most critical news stories and the largest, most sensational headlines were placed on the upper half of the front page.
Right, because the paper would be folded in half.
Yep, stacked in a metal rack on the street. Passersby would only see that top section. If that upper half didn't grab them instantly, they simply kept walking.
And translating that cognitive behavior to a digital portfolio today means the fold is the absolute bottom of the monitor or phone screen before a user is forced to scroll.
Exactly.
And the metric the source material provides for this digital window is honestly terrifying.
It is. You have 15 seconds or less before a visitor decides to leave your page.
15 seconds. That is all the trust they're willing to extend.
Barely enough time to take a sip of coffee.
Right. So if a hiring manager clicks a thumbnail to view a specific project, your most compelling illustrations, your absolute best photography, and your strongest, punchiest text must render right at the very top of that new page.
Because it's about respecting their cognitive load. Making a hiring manager scroll down through massive blocks of text or secondary sketches just to find the good stuff is introducing massive friction.
Oh, for sure. If they only look for 3 seconds and hit the back button, you need to guarantee they saw the absolute peak of your capability in those 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It's pure curb appeal. I mean, think about real estate. If a house looks terrible from the street, peeling paint, dead lawn, no buyer's gonna walk through the front door, navigate the hallway, and discover the beautifully renovated kitchen in the back.
Exactly, they just drive right by. And the most effective way to establish that immediate digital curb appeal is through what the author calls establishing shots.
I love that cinematic term.
It fits perfectly. Viewers need to instantly comprehend the significance, the scale, and the scope of a project in a fraction of a second. Right. The text uses this highly specific example regarding wine bottle design to really illustrate this.
Oh yeah, the designer who created labels for a Pinot Noir, a Pinot Grigio, and a Port.
Right. So if you design that trio, the instinct might be to upload 3 separate detailed pictures and force the user to scroll vertically through them.
Which we just established is a bad idea.
Very bad. Or even worse, hide them inside an image carousel where the user has to locate and click those tiny arrows to reveal the rest of the project.
Ugh, a carousel is a terrible idea because it hides your best work behind an interaction cost. You are literally making them work to see your talent.
Exactly. Instead, your establishing shot should be one stunning, perfectly lit, high-resolution group photograph of all 3 bottles together.
Just boom, there it is.
Boom. It instantly communicates the breadth of the entire campaign in one effortless glance. You should actively seek out website templates that prioritize a massive hero image at the top of the page, rather than small, constrained thumbnails.
Okay, so we've hooked them above the fold. They absorbed the scope of the project through the establishing shot, and they stayed on the page long enough to read your narrative.
We're making progress.
We are. But now we enter the skepticism phase.
Oh, yeah.
Because hiring managers know that premium website templates exist. They know there are massive libraries of pre-made UI kits and digital assets out there. So how do you actually prove that the brilliant ideas on the screen originated in your head?
Well, you have to pull back the curtain on your process. Employers are looking for the raw, original idea development that predates the polished digital file.
Right.
This is why the author strongly recommends including sketches and early process work for a select few flagship pieces in your portfolio.
Wait. We just spent the entire first half of this deep dive establishing that a portfolio must be a pristine 8 out of 10 highly curated experience.
He did.
Aren't raw, messy, scribbled sketches going to visually destroy that perfect aesthetic we just built?
It's a totally valid fear, and raw sketches absolutely do visually compete with polished work. But the text provides a brilliant UI hack to solve this exact tension.
What is it?
You don't embed the messy sketches directly on the main project page. You just scan them and provide a simple Adobe Acrobat link.
Oh, that is such an elegant solution.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it keeps the main interface beautifully clean, respecting that curb appeal we talked about. But the indisputable proof of your labor is just one click away for the art director who wants to verify your methodology.
Exactly. The messiness is actually the point. It proves the messy human thought process behind the sterile, pixel-perfect final product.
And taking that concept of proof out of the digital realm and into the physical interview room, the author suggests a fascinating tactic.
Bringing a physical sketchbook.
Yes, bringing a physical, tactile sketchbook to the in-person meeting. I found this to be such a massive power move.
Oh, it really is.
In a completely digital industry, sliding a physical, graphite-smudged book across the table is a jarring pattern interrupt. It completely changes the dynamic of the room.
It does. At some point in the conversation, quietly offering to let the creative director flip through your actual sketchbook is incredibly disarming.
I can imagine.
As the text notes, creative directors rarely turn this down. I mean, they have likely already studied your website thoroughly before you walked in the door.
Right.
So the physical book introduces brand new, intimate information they haven't seen, and it quietly, confidently distinguishes you from every other candidate who only brought an iPad.
It proves passion in a way that pixels simply cannot.
Perfectly said.
But, there is another layer of proof we need to dissect here, and this one operates entirely on a subconscious level.
Yes.
It's about hacking the human algorithm. We need to talk about psychological mirroring through keyword optimization.
Right. We usually think of keyword optimization strictly in terms of, feeding Google's algorithm so a website ranks higher in search results.
Sure, SEO.
But here, the application is entirely focused on human psychology. It's based on the behavioral concept that people trust people who are similar to them.
Makes sense.
In a conversation, if you want to make someone feel at ease, you might subtly adopt their posture or match their energy level. You mirror them.
Right.
You must do the exact same thing with the vocabulary you use across your resume, your cover letter, and the case studies in your portfolio.
You literally have to adopt the specific dialect of the employer.
Precisely. You have to extract the exact language the employer uses in their job description and weave it into your own narrative.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. So, if the agency's job listing specifically asks for an artist, you should explicitly refer to yourself as a digital artist.
Even if you usually call yourself a designer.
Exactly. If their listing repeatedly emphasizes marketing experience, you must ensure the copy in your portfolio highlights the marketing potential and ROI of your design work, not just the aesthetic choices. The author actually demonstrated this by running their students' existing resumes through a keyword density analyzer and then running the target job descriptions through the exact same tool.
Oh, wow. Let me guess, the data showed they were speaking two completely isolated languages.
Completely different vocabularies describing the exact same skill set. A student might be calling themselves a visual communicator, while the agency is aggressively scanning resumes for the term production artist.
That is wild.
If you don't mirror their specific terminology, you create subconscious friction. You don't look like a natural cultural fit for their team, even if your visual work is identical to what they need.
So your portfolio cannot be a stubborn, one-size-fits-all document?
No, it has to adapt.
It's such a subtle tweak, but the cognitive impact is massive.
Yeah.
If they write collaborative team player, their brain is literally scanning the page for those exact syllables. So let's take stock here. We have our 6 to 12 pristine pieces. The stunning establishing shots are sitting proudly above the fold. The narrative flows logically. The acrobat links are hiding the messy proof. And the copy is psychologically mirrored to the exact job description.
Sounds pretty perfect.
It feels like we are completely ready to hit publish and launch this out to the world, but there is a massive final blind spot we haven't addressed.
Right. Before any of this goes public, it must pass a vital stress test. You absolutely must meet with an external reviewer.
Yes. Because of cognitive blindness, it's exactly like an author trying to edit their own novel.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
You can read the same paragraph 50 times, and eventually your brain literally stops seeing the typos because it automatically renders what the sentence is supposed to say rather than what is actually printed on the page.
Yep.
You become blind to your own mistakes.
And that autocorrecting brain is a major liability when building a portfolio. You spend so many hours trying to position yourself perfectly that you just lose all objective distance.
You're too close to it.
Exactly. You need someone whose professional judgment you trust to provide an unbiased perspective. That fresh set of eyes will spot the glaring blind spots catch the microscopic formatting errors, and point out narrative inconsistencies that you simply cannot perceive anymore.
And it serves a dual purpose, right? It's not just a glorified spell check.
No, it is a critical dress rehearsal. It allows you to test those 15-second first impressions on someone who hasn't stared at the work for weeks.
That's so valuable.
More importantly, it forces you to practice articulating the story of each piece out loud, bridging the gap between your digital copy and your verbal interview pitch.
Right.
It prepares you for the friction of real-time pushback before you are sitting across from a hiring manager holding your career in their hands.
And once it passes that stress test and goes live, we can't just let it sit there collecting digital dust on a server. The final concept from the chapter is about aggressive maintenance.
Keeping the portfolio continuously updated is vital because of the fundamental nature of how the graphic design industry operates. It is an intensely reactive, pitch-based environment.
Positions open and close in a matter of days, sometimes even hours.
Exactly. An agency might win a massive new client account on a Tuesday, and by Wednesday morning, they immediately need 3 extra freelance designers to handle the overflow.
Wow, that fast.
They start looking right then. If your portfolio is 6 months out of date, you are going to be scrambling to delete old pieces, write new mirrored copy, and mock up your recent work.
And by the time you finish?
The window of opportunity has completely closed. The author emphasizes that maintaining an evergreen, updated portfolio allows you to throw your hat in the ring the very second an opportunity materializes.
Right.
It also subtly signals to employers that you are actively engaged in your craft and evolving with current design trends.
It's about being ready so you don't ever have to get ready.
Exactly.
So, to synthesize this entire architecture for you listening, a portfolio is never just an archive of your past. It is a living, breathing, highly calculated communication tool.
It really is.
From ruthlessly cutting your work down to only the pristine 8 out of 10 pieces, to utilizing the psychology of the newspaper fold to hook their attention in 15 seconds, to mirroring the exact vocabulary the employer is subconsciously searching for. Every single pixel and syllable we've unpacked today serves one singular mission.
Proving, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are the exact right fit for the specific person reviewing your work. It all comes down to radical intentionality.
Radical intentionality, I like that.
And I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over, building directly on the idea of crafting a narrative arc.
Okay, let's hear it.
If your current portfolio tells the story of the designer you are today, look very closely at the gaps. What is the one specific, imaginary passion project you need to start designing tomorrow, just so you can finally tell the story of the designer you want to become?
Wow, build the proof for the job you want, not just the jobs you've had. That is incredibly powerful. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Chapter 12. Remember that 85% statistic the next